As the world becomes increasingly digitized, it is important for everyone to practice good password security. Cybercriminals constantly look for ways to exploit weaknesses in online security systems to gain access to sensitive data. One of the most common methods used by cybercriminals is to guess or steal passwords. Passwords serve as the first line of defense and are the primary means of protecting sensitive online accounts from being hacked. Unfortunately, most people often take password security lightly, leading to an increased vulnerability to cyber threats. In this article, we will discuss 10 tips for strong passwords to assist you in creating secure passwords that will help protect your online accounts. 1. Use complex, unique passwords. One of the most critical tips for strong passwords is the use of complex, unique passwords. A strong password should be at least 12 characters long and include a combination of symbols, numbers, and uppercase and lowercase letters. Avoid using personal information such as phone numbers, birth dates, and names in your passwords, as they can be quickly guessed by cybercriminals. Furthermore, never use the same password for multiple accounts. This practice increases your vulnerability to cyber threats because once a hacker gains access to one account, they will have access to all accounts that share that password. 2. Use a password manager. Managing multiple complex passwords can be a daunting task. Using a password manager is one of the most effective tips for strong passwords. A password manager is a tool that creates, stores, and autofills complex passwords across various applications and online accounts. It eliminates the need to remember each password individually, which could lead to the use of weak and predictable passwords. Many password managers come with features such as password strength analysis and multi-factor authentication, which makes them a valuable tool for online security. 3. Implement two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication, 2FA, is an additional layer of security that provides an added level of protection to your online accounts. 2FA requires a user to provide two forms of identification, usually a password and a unique code sent to their registered mobile device or email address. This code, also known as a one-time password OTP, is entered along with the password to complete the authentication process. Implementing 2FA is an essential tip for strong passwords, as it significantly reduces the risk of a cybercriminal gaining unauthorized access to your account, even if they correctly guess your password. 4. Avoid common passwords. Avoiding the use of common passwords is one of the most fundamental tips for strong passwords. Hackers often use brute force attacks, which are automated attacks that systematically try out every possible combination of characters with commonly used passwords such as 12,345, QWERTY, or password. Avoid using predictable passwords or ones that are based on commonly used phrases or patterns. This includes avoiding common misspellings, such as replacing an S with a 5 or a 0 with an O. These passwords can easily be guessed and can make your accounts incredibly vulnerable to cyber threats. 5. Change your passwords regularly. Periodically changing your passwords is one of the most fundamental tips for strong passwords. This practice makes it more challenging for cyber criminals to compromise your account, even if they manage to gain access to your password. You should change your password at least every 6 months or whenever you suspect unauthorized access to your account. Additionally, you should always change your password immediately after receiving a notification of a security breach. 6. Avoid using public Wi-Fi for sensitive accounts. Avoiding the use of public Wi-Fi for sensitive accounts is one of the most critical tips for strong passwords. Public Wi-Fi is a hotspot for cybercriminals to steal login credentials and sensitive information. This is because public Wi-Fi hotspots are not encrypted, making it easy for cybercriminals to intercept data being transmitted over the network. Avoid logging into financial or other sensitive accounts when using public Wi-Fi. Instead, use a virtual private network VPN or your mobile data network to access these accounts. 7. Monitor your accounts regularly. Monitoring your bank, credit cards, email, and other online accounts is one of the most important tips for strong passwords. Regularly monitor these accounts for unusual activity, unauthorized transactions, or login attempts. If you suspect unauthorized activity, Immediately change your passwords and contact the customer support of the affected service. 8. Keep your operating system and software updated. Keeping your operating system and software up to date is one of the most frequently overlooked tips for strong passwords. This practice is essential because security patches and software updates usually contain improvements that fix security vulnerabilities in the software. Cybercriminals often exploit these vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access to your system, steal your personal data, and compromise your sensitive accounts. 9. Avoid sharing your passwords. Avoid sharing your passwords with others, even trusted individuals, as a password shared is no longer secure. Sharing passwords increases the risk of cyber threats as you no longer have control over who has access to your accounts. If it is necessary to share accounts, create separate accounts with different passwords and access levels. 10. Disable automatic login. Finally, disabling automatic login on your online accounts is one of the most recommended tips for strong passwords. Automatic login allows users to bypass inputting their passwords, making it easy for unauthorized persons to gain access to their accounts. Instead, enable manual login, which requires a user's password to access the account. This practice provides an added layer of security and ensures that you have control over who accesses your accounts. In conclusion, passwords serve as the first line of defense in protecting your online accounts. Incorporating these 10 tips for strong passwords will help you create secure passwords and safeguard your accounts from cyber threats. Remember to be cautious and vigilant when it comes to passwords and online security. Staying aware and taking necessary precautions can go a long way in ensuring your online safety.